further in to respect Harsh's time as well. So just let me know if you guys are good to go. Just drop me a confirmation, please. Ready to start?
We are live on YouTube.
Perfect. Awesome. Cool, guys. All right. So welcome everybody to the 7-day masterclass for Clan 16 at Outscal. I'll just cover a couple of minutes, a quick introduction, a little bit about myself. My name is Mayank. I'm founder of Outscal. I've been in the game industry for 10 plus years now, worked both in India and in US and a bunch of other studios across the board. And now for the last couple of years, I've been running Outscal as at the intersection of education and helping sort of programmers upskill and get jobs in the game industry, because I've been on both sides of the equation. And today I have Harsh joining in as well. Harsh is the founder of Hashbyte. He's been in the industry for almost the same amount of time as I have. But I was on the hardcore development side. Harsh has been strongly on the business side as well, at least from what I understand. And this is the first time Harsh and I are talking about it, so this will be fun. So yeah, welcome, Harsh. Excited to have you. Any sort of opening thoughts that you want to throw out, and then we'll dive into more about your journey and Hashbyte's journey as well.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I would like to thank the whole team of Outscal for having me for this call. And thank you, Mayank, for the introduction. Yeah, so it's been a great journey so far. So from I would say from childhood, I had the passion for gaming. So I was the kind of kid who used to burn whole pocket money to play games, and where parents used to scold you, just go and study, just go and study. And for us, nothing else matter. We just want to play the game. So I remember I started playing the game when I used to play that cassette console game.
Yep.
And it was ₹1 for 10 minutes. So
have you gone to those old age arcades behind curtain doors? You put coins into those arcade machines, right? I'm sure majority of the audience is like, what the fuck are these guys talking about, right? But okay, somebody still does that in the chat.
It was really tough time. So that room was very small where I used to go. So you hardly able to breathe. So we don't have that. In ₹1 you can't find air condition, the fan and everything. But we still had that passion. I used to play the game like Double Dragon, Mario, Islander, Excitebike, so a lot of stuff. So that was something used to drive me all the time. And even after completing my graduation, so when it was decided during my graduation that I wanted to start a venture. Then I was confused whether to go where. Then I decided I know about gaming only. I love gaming. I know how we play the game, what kind of passion or energy we hold while playing the game. So then I thought why not just to resume your hobby as a profession. So then I came to know, and at that time just Unity was launched when I started in 2013. So Unity was launched before that, but it was getting popular in India. So I remember a C3 session, I was meeting one of my client, and he told me just go and learn the Unity, and it has a very good future. And after that, you can see now, definitely it has a very bright future. So the journey has been amazing so far, and that was one of my agenda to join this session with you, because I wanted to interact with the students who are now ready to come out of their college, and who are taking a step into their dreams, and so that we can just share our experience. Rest they have to do. It's their, I would say, passion and energy that will derive them. But at least we can just give them what we done in what situation that brought us to this point.
So perfect.
I'm really excited.
Perfect. I think there are too many relatable elements to the childhood days because those old arcade corners, and I see some folks in the chat also saying that, oh yes, they relate to that. So that's good to see. But yeah, so for the last, I think 4 to 5 years, you've been running Hashbyte Studios in India. That's the venture that you've been building from the ground up. So walk us through what was the journey, what was the inception, what was the birth story of Hashbyte and Hashbyte, and then what is the motivation to keep it going, and what kind of thing that you're trying to build with the studio?
So, like like if you have to go and study some videos of like great entrepreneurs, like from where we can get an idea like how they have started, how they started their journey. So I was one of the kid like who was checking like why the people start I would say a venture or a product. Okay, so I got to realize that most of them are working on any kind of problem. So like it can be a problem related to our daily life or technology life or anything. Like we are here to solve the problem. So if we are we are able to like solve that problem, then it is something we are like leading to toward a good motivated venture. So I was like working in another studio before that, before like Hashbyte studio, just to gain the knowledge and experience. So the problem majorly I found in the service, specifically in the service based industry, was like whenever somebody is trying to develop any game, most of the projects get halted in between. So for me, that was a situation where I always wanted to solve that problem. Like why? What is the issue? Like most of the like investor, I would say, get disappointed because we have invested, but the game got stopped in between. We are not able to deploy the game. So that was the only like keen interest or passion which drive me. Okay, we want to start this studio, but we want to start in an approach that we want to achieve 100% success rate. So that is something we have achieved in Hashbyte Studio. From past 3 years, the day we started, we have the 100% success rate. That was one of the problem that we were solving. Like whatever we have started, whichever game we have started, we just connect to that game very clearly with the passion, with the positive energy, so that we can take that game to the stores. If we are not able to take the game to the store, then it's like just wastage of time and energy both. So that was the first problem that I wanted to solve before like starting this venture. And second was, I was very much into the gaming. I was very much aware of the processes and everything. So that was something that I can see. It can be controlled by my skill set. So that was the another thing that I wanted to like start this journey. So it was a very sort of a funny story. And in 2018, like I and my CTO, his name is like Bakshish. So I called him, okay, so we are starting the company. So let's not delay. And let's start it from the Pune, because I am basically from Chandigarh. So I wanted to start this venture from a metro city, or like something equivalent to metro city. So we took our car 4 a.m. in the morning. I went to his home. I just picked him. We packed everything in our like car, and we just left from like Chandigarh. And to be honest, I had only one visit to Pune before that, and we had all that I would say gas stoves, cylinders, and all that baskets and everything in the car. Okay, let's go there, and we will see from there to like how we gonna start. Then from there, like we started, and it was like we just worked for 2-3 months from home, and after that we found an office and we started from there, and slowly we grew to a team of 20 people over there. So one of the USP that we have, so I tried like we just recruit the best resources so that we can work on some best games and like deliver the best games to the audience as well. So this is how the journey started, and it's gaming. So every day is very excited. It's not the boring things like we are doing the same thing again and again. So yeah, the 3 years passed away, and even in the COVID, it was still amazing as the day one and during the COVID. So now we are excited to get back to the office and like continue the expansion. And now we have started working on some of our own products and some technologies like blockchain and NFT. So like in future, after 6 months, you will see NFT will take over the gaming as well. So things are getting very pretty much excited, and we are also very excited to explore that. So in nutshell, the journey has been amazingly awesome so far.
Yeah. No, I think that's really interesting, and I think the NFT space is just getting bonkers. So I'm sure we'll dive into it in a little bit again. But guys, as I cover some opening questions, please feel free to put in your questions for Harsh in the chat. I'll curate the questions that I think are very interesting, etc. as well. But Harsh, another question from my side is, like usually people think about service industry versus product industry, right? And I think you mentioned a very important point that personally resonates very strongly with me is like that you hire the best possible talent and then you work on the most kick-ass projects, right? And that's the kind of the right recipe for success, right? So you cannot. I think Harsh, you might be lagging a little bit. Are you able to hear me clearly?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you very clearly.
Okay. Sorry, I think the video was just lagging a little bit. So I think that's the best recipe for success, in my opinion, right? So, like when you sort of think about students and professionals who are either looking to get their first start in this industry or get a switch from, say, the regular tech industry, working in Android or whatever, right? And then thinking of becoming game developers, right? How do you sort of suggest them to think about this? That companies that are doing service for other companies and building game projects can also be kick-ass companies versus not just look at, oh, this company's product company, so this must be good, this company's service, so this must be bad, right? It's not a black and white situation. So how do you suggest that people should look at a company and evaluate it from an outside and think about, hey, is this the right place for me to come and work and join and the team, etc., right? So any general advice that young folks should follow when they're evaluating companies from the outside?
Yeah, definitely. I think want to work with a product-based company. So everybody think like if we go into the product-based company, we will get like more success in life, or we will get to learn about more. But I think I have a very different thinking about it. Like perception, my perception is quite different because when you are working on a very big product. So when you are working on a very big product, so you are working with maybe 20 developers, 30 developers along you. Like for example, GTA 5 was one of the game that took $300 million to be developed, and they had a team of like 1,000 developers. So when you are working there, so you will be working on a small task that is assigned to you, or maybe a very small part of the game. So I would suggest to the youngster, if you guys want to learn very fast and like grow, and if you want to like work on a lot of opportunities together, then service-based industry is the best place to start you if you want to grow, if you want to learn. Because think like we have a whole game and we want you to come on the system and work on the core gameplay, work on the core analytics of the game, and like work on the core part of the game. It's not like we have like hundred of people and you may get some UI to be fixed, or maybe I have seen like a very small task. So my perception is like if you want to grow very fast, if you want to learn about how exactly the tools are working for the gaming, how the gaming works, and if you want to gain the knowledge of overall process of the gaming, like starting from how we start from a game design document, then we move to the designs, actual designs, animation, development, and QA deployment. If you want to participate in all processes, definitely you should go with the service-based industry. And second is like when we talk about the big products, every product-based company has small companies with tie-up who are working for them. For example, like if there is any company, they are building a big game. I'll just take a very random example. Like if we talk about like GTA, so Rockstar Game, they have collaboration with some of the gaming studios who are providing some artwork to them, or maybe who are some working on some code skills to them. So it's not like that. Like product-based companies are also somewhat dependent on the service-based industry, because at the end of the day, if you are a good service provider, you have a very good, I would say, like work style that you can attain for the future, and you can like achieve a lot of success in that. So if you, my like in nutshell, if I have to conclude this conversation, I'm not saying product-based companies or like service-based companies, we can compare them, which one is better or bad. Both are good. But my thinking personally, as a founder of like my company, I can tell like service-based industry is something if you want to learn a lot, if you want to grow faster as compared to you are learning in the product-based company, you can start with it. And definitely the students who are just about to start their career, I would highly recommend to start, if possible, from a service-based industry. And after some time, you can just, because every student has their dream company, and I think everybody should have that company in their mind. But in order to achieve that milestone, you can just try out and you can learn rapidly, and then you can give shot to your dream companies.
Yeah,
So yeah,
perfect.
I prefer like if you guys want to start, just start with the service-based industry.
I think I completely agree with you, because at the end of the day, like you said, right, like even Rockstar might be working with a lot of studios to help them with the parts of the game itself. So at the end of the day, you're kind of contributing to the same project and the same product, just that the studio that you're working with or under, the name is different. That's the only thing. At the end of the day, you're getting the same kind of exposure. So as long as the company that you're going into has good team where you can learn and grow and get exposure to working on good kick-ass projects, I think that's the right recipe to evaluate anything and decide whether this is the company that I want to work with, right? So I think that's the right way of kind of summarizing it. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think there are a few questions regarding specific technicalities like C++, Unreal, etc. stuff. I'll cover, guys. I'll cover those in the orientation post our conversation with her. So don't worry, I'm not skipping those questions. Just don't feel disheartened. So I think there are a few questions regarding scope and all. How do you see the industry, especially given now the COVID scenarios, right? How do you see the industry kind of taking shape? What changes are you expecting in the next 5 to 10 years, at least from talent perspective and people perspective, right? Like COVID has just thrown everything haywire, but gaming is one place where it has gotten massive boom, right? So how do you see this kind of evaluate when talent is looking at saying, should I go work at Apple versus Uber versus a game studio, right? Which one? Where should I follow my passion?
Yeah. So definitely, see, when we talk about COVID, so COVID was something, it was a situation that everybody was unaware of it. And we never thought in our life, like even in our dreams, like we may fall into this pandemic. Like that is totally out of the syllabus, that question. So everybody was scared, okay, now what to do? The question is out of syllabus. So initially it was like very, I would say, difficult situation, not because like the business was impacted. It was a difficult situation because the executions were impacted, because in India we don't have a culture like we have a culture, but only 10 to 15% companies allowed working from home, but we don't have like a huge culture. So even for us, like to create the new processes, like if everybody, like I have like a team of 20 people, if we have to manage all them from the home, so that was one of the difficult situation. Rest, I don't think so gaming was impacted during the COVID. The only thing that workload was increases because everybody was behind us. Okay, we want to launch the game within the COVID because people are free and they want to play the game. So just push it, push it. So even we got the burden of the projects. And so some of the investors were scared to invest in the new games because they were not aware how the COVID will go while the future. So we faced some cut down in some sort of like new games, like where we were like in the discussion phase. We were like conceptualizing those areas. So like for those games, and those got impacted because now people were scared to invest into this. But other than that, I don't think so. Like COVID made any major evening. What I personally felt. So when you are in a closed environment, just for example, now students who left the college and they have started working on maybe Google, maybe Microsoft, maybe Hashbyte Studio, maybe Outscal, anywhere. So what happens, like if we are at the office, then they have everybody over there and they have a team over there where they will get a lot of learning from them. But right now, everybody is fighting individually more as compared to teamwork because of the COVID. Like we can't be interacting with each other, and everybody is like fed up of the calls. So I would say, like if everybody was as at office, for like the newcomers, it is a very good opportunity to see how the other people are working and like how the processes are following. But like still, if we have this kind of situation, yeah, we are working and we are sorting that out as well. So in order to pursue your dream, if you have any kind of dream, I would say you should just see which company has same kind of games for which you have the passion to create. Because like, if you talk about Tencent, so they just work on the multiplayer game, okay, like PUBG. So mostly they have the profile in that. If we talk about GTA, they have like a game like San Andreas and GTA 5, that is an open world game. Now, if you want to explore more into the mobile technology, then yes, Hashbyte Studio can be your choice, because we are into the mobiles and and one of our expertise to work on the board games. So I would say in our business, like we have a lot of categories. Like if we talk about mobile development, Android development, iOS development, those categories are very limited. But if you think like in our like business, we have a lot of categories like multiplayer game, 3D game, 2D game, open world game, board game. Like I can count car race, single player, third up, like n number of choices you have. So I would say first see what is your passion, like in what kind of games excite you, and if you see that game you want to build it, then just select the company and mostly what kind of companies are working in that particular segment. So that is one of the things that user can define. And if you found like based on your, I would say calculation, if you see Google is amazing, go for Google. If you see Hashbyte is amazing, you can go for Hashbyte. So it's just like how you want to start. So this is the decision that you have to take from your end, and after that you have plenty of options into the market.
Right. I think Harsha was asking, but by the way, there's just so many questions. I lost where Harsha's question is. It's quite far up, but he was asking specifically when you are hiring young engineers as game developers, like especially within your team, what is it that you guys are evaluating while hiring young talent? How should they think about preparation?
Yeah, so like during the hiring, when we talk about like somebody who just left from the office, so for my studio, only the talent matters. So first of all, we are not like behind the numbers, like somebody is having this percent, somebody is having that percent. The only thing we look out for is a passion, and second is the skill set, and third is the will to grow. Like if you have a will to grow in the future, and if we have taken you around, maybe you are not good at the communication skills, but you're like passion for like coding, you have a very good knowledge or keen knowledge of your code, and you know the basics of the technology or the language that we are using. So that is the I would say primary skill set that we look for. And second is your behavior, like your passion. Like for example, if you have a very good skill set, but at the end of the day you are not that much responsible, or you are not giving direction to that particular skill set, then again it won't be very useful, because we won't be able to direct that skill set into a direction. So for us, like if we have to go and hire a game developer, a new game developer, the only thing we look for personally is first of all the passion, second the love for gaming, and third like how fast they can adapt the new things, like how fast they can adapt the coding languages, but and how they have built their own base for that particular like technology.
Yeah. No, I think like kind of connected to that. I've generally seen across the board, companies moving away from degrees and looking at, because you mentioned specifically, right, the passion for the games, right, and the skills. So I feel that's the right recipe to look at. Hey, if I'm working on Unity, do you know a little bit about Unity? Can you build basic games and have the passion to learn and grow on the policies and the practices that are done in the studios?
Exactly.
And I'm seeing across the board in the industry, because I see there's a lot of chatter in the chat regarding, hey, I'm from mechanical background, I'm from XYZ background, not from a computer science background. Am I still qualified to become a game developer, right? So generally, what's your answer to that, the passion versus degree answer?
Yeah, I'll tell you two things. I'll give you the real example. It's not like though we work in the virtual world, but let's now get realistic. So I have a friend. Okay, so he wasn't able to complete his even like 10th class or then 12th class because of some like medical issue. but he had a passion for technology. He had a system. I'm talking about like 2005 or 6 or I think 7. He had that passion. He had a system. He learned everything. He learned like starting from C, C++, objective. He wasn't even having a degree of 12th class at that time. And now I can challenge like that. My friend can I can compete with one of like even like some of the best game developers as well that we have in India. So degree matters. I'm not saying like just don't take it in that way. Okay, so degree don't matter. Like they just drop the college, and because most of the entrepreneurs drop the college and go. No, see, degree matters for the experiences. Like they teach you how to handle the situation. You will get exposed over there. You will explore over there, like how the things work. But at the end of the day, if you are having 90%, but at the time when you are come to the real world and you have to code, and over there, like you are not that passionate, or like you are getting like behind. So that is something will affect you. And I think even like in Indian now culture, like now things have changed. Like everybody is like doing the practical more during the studies as well. So I would suggest in your free time, go start coding. If you want to go into the development, if you want to go into the designing, just go to the CCD, just sit around, start drawing something. Just explore your passion, just explore your talent, explore your skill set. Because after 1 or 2 years, nobody will ask for your degree. Then they will ask for your experience. Only initially, something we have sort of criteria. And in Hashbyte Studio, generally, if the person is very talented, so we don't have like that mandate degree requirement as well. Like if that person skill set is very good, because at the end of the day, I'm worried about the skill set only, like how they take the opportunity, how they deliver the task. That's it. They should have that passion of learning and to grow.
Yeah, no, I perfectly agree with you. And I think because we are working with hundreds of game studio to help them hire the right talent, we are seeing very same sentiment that you just mentioned, right? Like degree is good to have. It's not it's not the most essential thing. And it's definitely not the only thing that will get you a job, right? Especially because this industry is so technically competitive, right? You need be to be a good game developer, you need to be a good developer and then learn about gaming and game development, right? So it's a combination, and that's where the challenge is hard, but then the passion is something that like makes people stay, right? Like we both have been in the industry for more than a decade, and it's just that passion, right, that keeps us going.
Yes.
So
But I want to like add on one more thing when we talk about passion, because sometimes even I feel we use that word oftenly, like passion. So guys, I want to like tell you to everyone, like passion will be valuable if that passion has a direction. But if that passion don't have a direction, then it's not valuable.
Yeah.
I'll give a very simple example. You are going to gym. You have a passion for like gymming, and you want to work out, and you want to like develop big muscles. Okay, you'll just go, and from the first day you are like trying to lift like 150 kg, 70 kg. It will lead you to the injury only. It won't like lead you for the big muscle. Though you have the passion, like okay, I'll go. आज तो मैं मतलब you had that passion, but again that the one thing which is missing is direction. So if you don't have the direction for your passion, for your energy, for your goal, for your milestone, then it is something definitely you will come up with an injury. So if you want to avoid an injury, if you want to build good muscle, it's just not you need to just lift the weights. You have to work on the diet and so many things as well, like the medical things as well. So just give a proper direction to your passion so that you don't waste your energy. Just conserve that energy and apply on a particular skill set.
Perfect.
And last but not the least, even I myself was a very average person, even in the school, even in the college. Even in the college, like I was totally lost. When I left the college, I was totally lost. I used to get the backs in college, then we cleared it out. But it was something, again, that never affected my confidence to start my venture. So because again, I know I had that passion, and even I knew like how to direct that passion. So that is the key. Just direct your goals and direct your passion.
No, I think that's very, very appropriate given today's world where there are so many distractions, right? Social media, YouTube, etc., right? There's
Yes,
a
yes, yes.
crap ton of distractions, but yeah. So perfect. So I think we're just hitting up on the time limit, so I don't want to keep you for too long because I know yeah, I committed you for 30 minutes only. So, but before I let you go, there is something, some small 2-minute fun activity that I want to do with the rest of the folks as well.
Yep.
Aman, if you can enable the video, I'll request everybody to switch their Zoom to gallery view and please pop up your camera. I promise this will be the next 3 minutes will be very fun and engaging. There are more than 100 people on the call today, and this will help us get a sense of who we have in the audience, what are they excited about, and hopefully this will be a new way for us to engage with the audience as well. So if you can all pop onto the camera, we'll play a very quick, short camera-based game, and this will be fun. Okay, so as I can see, majority of you guys are popping in, so thanks for participating. If you don't have cam, don't worry, it's okay. You can still theoretically participate. So here's how the game goes. Okay, everybody's going to use their thumb to cover their camera. Okay, so essentially you're using the thumb to cover your cam, whether it's on your laptop, phone, etc. So just cover it up for a minute. Okay, so everybody just cover the camera. Harsh, you can also participate as well. So you can just cover the camera. Okay, so I'm going to say out a question, and if the answer to that question is yes, then you remove your hand from the camera. Okay, so it's a very simple game, right? So for example, right, if your name starts with the letter M, you remove your hand. Okay, so now we can see there are a few folks with their name M and they've removed. Okay, so hopefully everybody's gotten the idea. Perfect. So now we'll dive into the real fun. Okay, so cover up the camera. All right, so if you have played any mobile game in the last 24 hours, show us your faces. Okay, good number of folks playing mobile games. Perfect. All right, next question. If you have played a console game in the last 24 hours, then show us your faces. Oh, very few. Okay, so a lot of our audience on mobile, but very few on consoles. Okay, perfect. So next question. If you have played any game in the last 2 hours, then show us your face. Okay, as you can see, Harsh and I have both our cameras covered. We too busy to play games. So, all right, perfect. So if you have thought of building games professionally before you heard of Outscal. All right, awesome, perfect. So a good number of folks have thought of doing this professionally. Perfect. Harsh, do you want to add in a couple of questions from your side? Anything fun that gives you a flavor of what the audience we are talking about?
Okay, I'll try.
Yeah, go for it. Any yes or no question is good enough. Yeah.
So I'll just add on one question. The folks who think like playing mobile game is much more fun as compared to playing console game.
So if you think playing mobile games are much more fun than playing console games, it's a very subjective question, right? Like I enjoy equally both. Come on, like it's a tough one to answer. Okay, okay, perfect. So I'll just add one question. If you have actually built any game professionally and launched it on the Play Store, whether it's for fun, whatever, right? Like, have you launched something on any website, YouTube video, etc.? If you have launched a game. Oh, so a few people have actually launched. Perfect. Awesome. So thanks everyone for participating. Hopefully you guys got to know a little bit about the rest of the audience. It's a fun sort of 2-minute game that gets the juices flowing and gets everybody to participate. So yeah, thanks again, Harsh, for joining in. And this was really for sharing.
I think I lost your voice at the end.
Dropped a bit here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you are audible now.
Sorry. Okay, perfect. So thanks, Harsh, for joining. It was really great having you on, and thank you for participating. Would love to host you again, but any closing thoughts before you jump off?
Thanks, guys. All the very best for your future. And I would say keep on playing the games and just follow your passion. It will come.
Perfect. Perfect. Directed passion, right?
Yeah.
Directed in the right direction. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks, Harsh, and have a good rest of the weekend. All right. Perfect. All right. Awesome. So thanks, everybody. Hopefully you guys had fun with that session, had fun interacting with Harsh as well. Before we continue further, we'll just do a quick poll. It's a Zoom pop-in poll. Just a single question. So the team will make that live. You'll see the poll happen on your screen any moment now. And would just love to get a sense of how are you guys feeling about overall session and the energy and the excitement level. I know I missed a lot of the questions because there were just way too many questions. So my apologies there. If there are some more interesting questions that the team highlights out, I'll definitely pick them up in the rest of the session as well. Okay, so perfect. So it looks like everybody is about to finish participating. So if you can just use the poll option and quickly close that out. We'll just have another 5 seconds and then we'll have the summary of the poll out as well. Okay, perfect. So I think we are good. Yep. So looks like about 75% people participated and large audience said, they had really good amount of fun and have high amount of energy. So I'm excited and pumped as well. Perfect. So now we'll be transitioning into our Clan 16 masterclass orientation. And what we'll be doing is I'll be sharing my screen and we'll get started. Give me 1 second. Okay. One second. Okay, let me just share. All right, perfect. So if somebody can drop in a confirmation that they're able to see my screen.
It's visible.
All right, perfect. So, all right, so welcome again, once again, to Outscale's Game Development Masterclass. Officially, we are kickstarting our Clan 16. So for the next 7 days, we'll be getting an introduction of game development. What is it all about? Getting a flavor of games and the industry. Very much like today, we'll be getting to chat with a lot of interesting folks from the industry. My name's Mayank. I'm the founder of Outscale. I've been running the studio for the last 2.5 years, 3 years. I've been in the game industry for more than 10 years now. I've worked with studios in US. I've worked with EA in US, other studios like Kickoff and Dana. Worked on some high-profile games like Transformer games. Then moved to India, worked with companies like Chunky Games on some real money games, casino games, Rummy, etc. as well. And then worked on some real multiplayer games and worked with a lot of studios in Hong Kong, Dubai, Europe, etc. as well. For the last 2.5 years, I've been building Outscale. And the goal for Outscale is I've been hiring talent for the last 7-8 years in the game industry, a lot of engineers. And I personally had to go to US to do a master's degree to get my career started in game development. And I wanted to make sure that a lot of people had the same opportunity that I didn't get back in 2010 when I wanted to switch into gaming. There was no programs in India that helped people build the right skill and get placed in companies. So that was the core mission that I started close to 3 years back with. Malhar will be joining me on the call a little later, and he's one of our main mentors, host, guide. He'll be your best friend if you're continuing with the full program. He'll be your worst enemy if you're falling late on your assignments and everything. We'll get to talk to Malhar shortly as well. Perfect. So for this 7-day masterclass, before we jump in, please pop in your questions into the chat. I'll be taking regular pauses during the presentation and answering any questions. We'll try to answer all the questions that come in. But that being said, in case we miss something, please just repeat the question. But we'll make sure that we cover everything that has at least a unique question or something. Okay. Cool. So today we'll be kickstarting with an orientation, and then there will be a special session a little bit later that we'll be diving into. For the next 7 days, we'll be meeting at 7 p.m. on Zoom using the exact same link. Okay. So today is day 1, 2nd September. We'll be continuing all the way to 8th of September, which will be day 7. And then on 9th of September, we'll be announcing who all will be joining us in Clan 16. Typically, we only select 20 people. That's usually the upper limit. We don't take more than 20 people at all. That's our hard limit. So there is a kind of a selection process that you guys will be going through as well. Okay. So today we'll be kickstarting with an orientation. Tomorrow we'll be covering Unity, a little bit of introduction, getting started, etc. On 4th of September, we'll have a special event called Clan Labs, where you'll get to meet all the alumni from previous clans. It's a very fun, casual event that I host personally every week with every member of the Outscal community. This is Clan 16, so we've had a good number of clans in the past. After Clan Labs on 5th and 6th September, we'll be diving into the first Unity project that you guys will be working on. After that, there will be a C++ project. All of these will be game projects. And on the last day, we'll be covering a little bit about interview preparation. So the goal of the next 7 days is to give you a very good overview of what to expect when you're trying to enter into the games industry. Each day, first 30 minutes, there will be a guest coming in. These will be either industry professionals such as founders or technical managers, hiring managers from different companies, or alumni that you'll get a chance to talk to as well. So here's the lineup for the next 5 days. I'll include in who will be joining in for the other 2 days as well. So today we had Harsh, Prashant, Venkat, Sachin, Nakul. These guys are founders / project managers / alumni. So you'll be getting a chance to talk to and interact with them over the course of next 7 days as well. Okay. Here are some of the folks that have already graduated from Outscale in the past and have been successful. Some of them, you might know the name of the games, but might not know the company. So such as Setunath, who works with Encore Games. Encore Games is the company that launched 4G. And before that, Setunath was also working with Ludo King as well. So the company called Gamation, and he got both the jobs after graduating from Outscale. And there are a bunch of other Fleming, who's now working with MPL, Vinay, who was from our clan number 1, our very first clan, and he's now working with Ubisoft as well. And there are a lot more students that have graduated over the years and are now doing tremendous things. So you'll usually find a lot of our students active on LinkedIn. This is something that we'll cover later today as well, because LinkedIn is part of the strategy of building the right professional network, and we'll be diving into these aspects later today. Okay. So you'll see a lot of folks talking about us on LinkedIn. You can connect with them, reach out to them, ask them for their reviews, feedback, etc. So we run a very transparent ecosystem. All of these mentors and alumni are on Discord as well, which we'll get to cover tomorrow, and you can always connect with them over LinkedIn. Cool. Okay, so right now we partner with a lot of game companies. We talked to Hashbyte as well. There are a bunch of other names. We had a couple of people working with MPL. We had 3 developers who got placed with Simple. And we had a couple of developers who are now working with Encore, and a bunch of other studios across the board as well. So at the end of the day, our goal is that we are able to cover majority of the studios that exist first in India and then internationally as well. So we partner with the studios to make sure that the details and things that we are covering in our program to help train game developers is actually in line with what majority of the studios are looking for when they're hiring talent. So we work closely with the studios to make sure that the skill set that developers have after they graduate is what the studios actually need and when they're hiring. Okay, so this makes sure that there is a high chance of success, that students who are put in the right amount of effort are able to get placed with these companies. And this list is just always growing. Okay, I'll just stop here for a minute and take a look at the questions. So give me a second. Team, if somebody can help me, if there are any specific questions that I need to answer, because I think there are quite a lot. Because is asking, I have experience in HTML, Angular 8, will it help in building games? So Bikash, that's a good question. So all the web development experience that you might have will help you in building web-based games, especially something like HTML5. That will be very closely related. Programming experience will help you in learning C# and C++. I'll come to those topics in a little bit as well, because those are the key topics that we'll be covering in our 7-month program. Okay, so at the end of the day, there is something called as transfer learning, Bikash, and this is something that's very helpful when you already have some experience and you want to translate that knowledge into something else. So I'll talk about this when I touch on specifically about the program curriculum. Okay. Okay, I have experience in Blender, DSA, and Algo. Will that help me? Kaushal is asking, absolutely, Kaushal. I'll come to more of these technical pointers in a little bit, because I'll just be covering these things. Okay. Somebody asked regarding sessions being recorded. Yes, everything, all the live sessions will get recorded and they'll get shared as well. Do we need Android development knowledge to build Android games? Depends on what platform. If you're building native games, you need Android development knowledge. If you're building games that are cross-platform using Unity and Unreal, you don't need too much knowledge. If you're going too deep into it, you might need it because you might be working with plugins and things like that. But that's usually more intermediate/advanced level things. But depending on your skill level, you will need them once you start becoming more advanced. Okay. What about Python and Python? I'm not sure what that question was. Depending on game engine. Karan, I want to join Ubisoft. That's my dream. Absolutely, Karan. We already have one alumni who has already graduated and joined Ubisoft. So it's heavily and 100% possible. You just need to work hard, because obviously the bigger the company is, the bigger the brand is, they're more, the selection process is very strict and tough, right? But that doesn't mean you can't break in. It has already happened in the past, like I was sharing on Vinay's example as well. Okay, cool. So let me jump back into it. Abhishek is asking, sorry, the chat is moving too fast. This question as one friend asked. So I've worked on Unity 2D, 3D, AR, VR, plus kind of basics. So why should I join the program? Okay, so good question. So if you have done a little bit of Unity 3D, 2D, AR, VR, etc., right? The best way to assess where your skill level is just to apply to companies, okay? And see if you're able to get a job or not, right? If you're able to get a job, great, then you don't need anything, right? But if you're not able to, that means something is missing, right? So you need to figure out what exactly is missing, whether it's your technical ability, whether it's your communication skills, whether it's your interview ability. Are you even getting a response from the companies that you're applying to, right? A lot of the people face this challenge that they're applying to companies, but they're not even getting a response from the companies, right? So the most of the problem with the game development ecosystem, and I've spent 10 years in this ecosystem working with different studios, is that people are able to follow YouTube tutorials and they're able to build games. But the issue is that these are not the kind of games that professional game studios are making, right? Usually YouTube tutorials do a 10-minute, 20-minute, maybe a 2-hour video on how to build one type of game, right? It doesn't really talk about the engineering principles behind them, the design patterns, the mobile optimizations and performance optimizations, and how do you think about code architecture. And these are all the topics that professional game development studios care about. But YouTube videos are not going to teach you that, right? That's the problem with building game projects, following some of the simple tutorials. While it's a good start, it's a great start, but it doesn't prepare for a professional job per se. Okay, so cool. So I think that was a good question. Okay, there are too many questions. I think Abhishek, you will have to shortlist some of the questions for me. So if you can help me and just DM the questions to me as well, then I can pick those up. I'm planning, Piyush is saying I'm planning to start a game studio. So that's great to hear, Piyush. I'm doing mechanical engineering. Can I achieve my passion? Absolutely, Ram. It's all about building the right skill set. I think Harsh and I said the same thing because, it's all about showing that you have the right skills and then showing that you have the passion to learn new things as well. Most of the time, your degree and your background does not matter, right? So somebody is asking why data structures and algorithms is required in game development. Very good question. Give me a couple of slides and I'll come back to it. Okay, cool. So let's jump back in. Let's spend a couple of minutes to talk about the overall program. Okay, so the program is 7 months long. So on the website, Outscale's official website, it still says 6 months because this is something that we have recently made changes to. So we have added a couple of new projects that we feel are the right step, because obviously we talk to hiring managers and HRs from game studios and founders from gaming startup studios as well every day. So usually these give us a lot of feedback in terms of what is important when they are looking for talent, right? What is it that they are selecting and shortlisting talent for? So as a result, we decided we wanted to add in a couple of more projects, and now the program is actually 7 months long, but the cost is exactly the same. So this is sort of Outscale's way of improving the program over time as we get to talk to more and more game studios and understand how they're hiring and what skill set they are looking at when they're hiring this talent. Okay, so during the 7 months, this is something that we do very uniquely, that the placement is not something that happens towards the end of the program. Okay, so the way you want to think about the whole placement scenario is that typically when you go to a college, right, placements start to happen only when you reach fourth year or towards the end of your final year, right? But at Outscale, placement is pretty much an everyday thing. Okay, on average, what we have seen is that students who are doing really, really well actually get placed in month 3 itself. Remember, the program is 7 months long, so they have not even covered all the projects, etc. But they still have gotten a placement job offer, and they start working immediately with the companies. And actually, Malhar will be joining me later. He's also in the same category. He ended up joining a company in month 4, right, of the program itself. He had job offer during month 3, and in 4th month he was already working full time. So there's no magic recipe here. It's all about what even Harsh was saying towards the end of his call. If you have the passion, you need to direct it in the right way, and this is the program is actually focused on doing that, right? So the topics that we'll cover, the projects that you guys will make, etc., right, all of those are aimed at giving you that direction, right? The passion and the time is the thing that you bring to the table. Is that what you actually add? And then the direction is what we provide, right? So the more you're able to focus and do the things that the program suggests and what Outscale's team is going to recommend, in that case, you will be on a much faster path to success. Okay, so that's something that you can bank on. But obviously, not everybody is going to get placed in 3 months. Not everybody is going to put in the maximum amount of effort. So what on average we see is that people get placed somewhere between on a minimum 3 months and sort of 9 months on the upper side, right? So that's the ideal window in terms of placement. The rest kind of comes down to how you are sort of putting in the effort. Okay, so before we continue, let's do a quick poll, because I know there were a lot of questions regarding people who are from non-technical backgrounds. So just to understand who all are in the audience, if you can use the poll option to quickly answer whether you're from a technical or a non-technical background, anything that's computer science, IT related, use the technical option. If you know some programming, even if you're from, say, like mechanical or civil engineering or completely non-engineering, but you have done programming courses and you understand the fundamentals of programming and object-oriented programming, then choose the technical option. Okay. Okay, so I can see about 67% people have already voted. So if the rest also can quickly use the Zoom option to vote, I'll get a better sense of how many people have, what kind of a background. Okay, perfect. So looks like we have 100% of the answers in, and let me share the results. So we have a good 60% of the audience from technical background and a large chunk of 40% from non-technical background. So thanks for sharing those details with me, guys. So the reason why I'm asking here is that the time commitment that people need to spend during the program is different depending on whether you're coming from a technical or from a non-technical background. Okay, so folks who have technical background means that you have at least good knowledge of one programming language. It can be anything: Java, C#, C++, doesn't matter, Python. If you have knowledge of at least one good programming language, then you're in the technical background category. In that case, on average, you will be spending 24 hours doing the assignments and attending the mentor sessions and all those bits and pieces, okay, in the program. If you are coming from a non-technical background, in that case, you will be spending about 35 hours per week, because you have to put in a little bit of extra effort in order to make sure that you are up to speed and are able to implement things the same way. Okay. That being said, you will not you will be provided with everything what you need. Okay, you don't have to worry about learning things from the outside, etc. All the resources and the learning material and the mentor guidance that you need, whether you're from technical or from non-technical background, will be provided to you. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Cool. So somebody asked this question: do I need data structures and algorithm to become a game developer? So we'll pop over a short poll again. I just want to understand, what do you guys think before I dive into the answer of these bits and pieces? Okay, so if you guys can use the poll option to quickly give me a sense of, what do you feel? Is it data structures and algorithms? Is it necessary to become a game developer? Okay, so I can see about 70% of people have voted already. So we'll just give it 5 more seconds and we'll get the results in. All right, perfect. So we can see about 80% people voted that yes, data structures and algorithms is necessary for game development. And you guys are correct. Data structures and algos is super important. Okay, so I'll cover why. These are the basic building blocks of the curriculum that will be covered at Outscal. Okay, and I'll come back to this data structure answer in just 1 minute. All right, so the whole program is divided into 3 main sections. You have your game development basics, you have your game development advanced, and then you have your bonus section. Okay, so the game development basics and advanced, when you add them together, that will be your 7 months of curriculum. Okay, so the basics and the advanced will be cumulatively 7 months. Bonus is something that is added on so that people who are interested in learning certain specific elements such as multiplayer gaming, they can opt in for these kind of sessions. Again, there is no extra charge for this. The reason why multiplayer is kept in bonus is because majority of the companies, when they're hiring, they do not look at multiplayer games as a core skill set. They focus on the fundamentals, and I'll talk more about this as well. So your basics and some of your advanced level concepts are the core fundamentals that are important to break into companies and to clear their interview rounds, etc. So that's why there will be heavy focus on basics and advanced and not too much focus over bonus. But bonus, because everybody loves building multiplayer games, it is a bonus module that will get covered. It's up to you whether you want to take part in it or not. It's an optional thing. Okay, so when it comes to the things that will get covered, right? So we'll be first starting with C++. We'll spend at least 4 weeks on building C++. From there, we'll jump into learning C# and Unity, and we'll build multiple projects in Unity. And data structures and algorithms will again be another core principle that we'll cover. So we'll be covering C# language for building games in Unity. We'll be learning C++ as well. And then using C++, we'll be covering data structures and algorithms. Okay, so those will be the main components that we'll cover in the program. Hopefully that makes sense. During the program, there will be heavy focus on building projects. It's completely project-based. So pretty much every day, if you're doing something, you will be working on a part of a project, right? Some of these projects will be team projects. Some of these projects will be solo projects. Some of these projects will be game jam projects, okay? So by the end of the program, you'll have 2 C++ flagship projects in your repository or your portfolio, okay? You'll have 6 Unity projects as part of your portfolio, and you'll end up with about 20 different data structure related repositories as well, okay? Anand is asking, is OOPS fundamentals too? Yes, absolutely. OOPS is fundamentals, okay? And OOPS will be covered along with C++, okay? Cool. So quickly coming on to mentors. Before I jump into mentors, let me pause for a couple of minutes and take a few questions, because I think there are a good number of questions. Somebody's asking, why not data structures in C#? So that's a good question. The focus here is not about just learning data structures, but actually implementing data structures so that you understand the fundamentals, okay? And when you work in languages like C# and Java, these will basically make your life a little bit easier to implement data structures, but will hide a lot of the complexity and the details that as a beginner and as a new developer that you should be aware of, right? So when you use C++, you have to implement everything by hand, which means that you are getting into the details and you are able to learn a lot of things better, such as memory management, pointers, etc. Right? All of these concepts are not there in C# and Java, or are kind of hidden, right? So you don't have to worry as a programmer, you don't have to worry about it, but C++ makes you implement them. So you learn a lot better, okay? And another very important thing is that because you're only focusing on Unity, there is a good part of the industry that works in Unreal, okay? Or if you go to some of the bigger studios, but such as Ubisoft or EA, they might be working in their own engine, okay? Own engine as an own game engine. So in that case, majority of these are C++ based. So the more exposure that you have to C++, you can apply for jobs that are focused in Unity, and you can also apply for jobs that are focused in Unreal or C++ based game engines, because you have a good practice of both, okay? So that's why intentionally the program has been designed in that way, okay? Somebody's asking, what's repositories? Repositories are nothing but projects that you'll be uploading to GitHub, okay? So we'll be covering GitHub and all those details later, so you don't need to worry about it. My apologies, I didn't make that very clear. Okay, let me just quickly check. Somebody's asking, I'm 32 years old. I'm changing my career from a graphic designer. Can you please give an overview of what's the difference between game design and development? Game development requires coding. So yes, actually we've had, just a caveat here is, we have had a lot of people in their late 30s and mid 30s. I'm also in my mid 30s, who actually are changing their career into development. We have had people who are working as QA in game industry and are now applying to become a developer. And we've already had successful, folks who have graduated successfully. They were doing 3D art in the industry as, a game artist, and now are working with game companies as a developer. We've had students who are already doing this as well. So these transitions are actually very real and happening. At the end of the day, we don't care what background you have. If you have the right passion and attitude, and you're able to commit the right amount of time, then this program will be a good fit for you. If you don't have the time or you're not passionate, then it will not be a good fit, unfortunately. Okay. As far as what is the difference between game design and game development, it's a very big topic. Design usually is more like things that you feel, right? That this jump is too fast, etc., right? And development is what you see and what you do in the game. So if you move the up key and your character moves up, that's game development. But game design is how you feel, the music, the emotions, the hard level or the easy level, etc. The things that you feel are design. The things that you do are development. So development is related to proper coding. Design is related to a lot of data. Okay. Okay, cool. So let me see what are the other questions. Okay. Cool. So let me jump in first to a lot of other bits are still left. So I'll try to move fast as well. Okay, so mentors are a very integral part of the program, all right? So usually all your mentors will be folks who are industry professionals. They are working with companies, either tech companies or game companies, and they're doing, active development on projects during the day. So one thing that I want to make absolutely clear today is that a mentor is not the same as a teacher. So if you're just coming from a learning background like a college or master's program or a bachelor's program, uh, the role of a teacher in a college is very different versus role of a mentor here. The job of a mentor is to guide you, not to teach you. Okay, so you'll be learning first through the learning material that will be shared with you. You'll be working with your teams to start building projects, and then the mentors will come in and give you feedback on the projects that you're working on. They'll tell you where you are making mistakes. They'll tell you where you can improve and how you can improve. Okay, but they'll not sit and teach you the ABCD. Okay, all those pieces you'll be provided proper learning resources. You'll be asked to implement things and make projects once you learn those things, and then the mentors come in and guide you on the mistakes that you might have done, and you can ask them questions. Okay, so the mentors are there to guide you and coach you, but not to teach you. Okay, there is a very strong difference between what a mentor is and what a teacher is. Okay, so this is how learning happens internationally in world-class universities like Carnegie Mellon and Stanford and Harvard and MIT. Majority of the master's level program focus on this kind of a philosophy, and that's why Outscal has been inculcated to use this kind of an approach as well. Okay, perfect. So as I mentioned, your mentors will come from the industry. So your game development mentors will be folks who have professional industry experience and are working in companies using engines like Unity and Unreal or HTML5 based games, etc. Right? So they all have experience, at least 5 years, 4 years, and above experience, sometimes even 10 years experience building projects and building games. Okay, so game development mentors will be focused on folks who have hands-on experience with Unity, Unreal, and similar technologies. Okay, whereas your computer science mentors, who will be focused on topics such as C++ and data structures, these will come from well-known companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Wing, Dunzo, etc., right? So these folks have cracked a lot of coding interviews, and they already know how to prepare very well for these kind of companies and interviews as well. Okay, and usually they all come from good backgrounds, but you'll find a lot of mentors come from even tier 3 universities, but they're hardworking and they were able to make successful with these big name companies as well. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, there will be an eligibility criteria for the program as well, because we are very selective. We only take 20 people into the program. So the learning attitude, etc., is the first thing. You need to be minimum 18 years of age. English will be the primary source of communication that will be used between you and your teammates, between your mentors, between your coaches, with the companies that will be interviewing you. So English communication is super important. As you're going through the trial, this 7-day masterclass experience, assignment and attendance will be mandatory as well. So you need to maintain at least 80% on both, on your assignment completion as well as on your attendance for these next 7 days if you want to qualify for the full 7-month program. Okay, each day you will be awarded some XP. and this XP will translate into your selection criteria. But Aman from my team will be talking about more of these details tomorrow when the XP system goes live. Okay. Cool. So now coming on to the fees options for the program. Okay. I'll take up questions once I cover the fees option because there will be a lot of questions here as well. So typically there are two ways where for this fees that you can opt into. Okay. One is called the prepaid option and the other one is called postpaid. Prepaid classically is very similar. You pay upfront. Upfront model or prepaid model is the same thing. So the cost of the program is 1.5 lakhs plus GST. If you're opting for this option, in that case, you will have the option to either take a one-time installment and just pay the entire amount upfront. In this case, there is some option for giving you discounts, so you can opt in for that. And or you can also opt in for a 12-month EMI plan. Those are also available. You can work with the admissions team. Will reach out to you to discuss these kind of details as well. Okay. The postpaid option. This is something that's new for a lot of the audience. Okay. Which is also called as an income share agreement or an ISA for short. Okay. So an income share agreement, in summary, what it means is that when you join the program, you don't have to pay the tuition fee for the program till you get a job placement, till you're working with a company. Okay. So our role as an education provider is to get you a job. Okay. To provide you the right skills so that you can get a job. Your role is to work really hard so that you can get that job. Okay. And learn the things that we are teaching you. Okay. Once you have gotten a job and we have fulfilled our promise of getting you a job, then only you start paying us back what the fees is. Okay. So this is kind of something new. I'm not sure how many people are aware of it. So here, the goal is that the better your job, the more you earn, the better we are able to be successful as well as a company. Okay. So once you get placed in any company, you will be paying back 17% of your CTC on a monthly basis. Okay. So I'll come to the calculation, but the idea is that part of your future salary, you will be able to pay back as installments and EMIs to Outscal if you opt in for an income share agreement. Okay. And at max, you only have to pay 36 monthly installments. Okay. So it's kind of like a 3-year loan that you're taking. All right. So you'll never have to pay more than 36 monthly installments. Hopefully that makes sense. So here's a little bit of a calculation to just give you an idea. Okay. So if you are getting placed at a salary which is below 4.5 lakhs per annum, or it comes out to be 37.5 thousand rupees per month, if your starting salary is below that, right? So then you don't have to pay us anything till you cross this 4.5 lakh per annum mark. You do not have to pay. So if you graduate and your first job is 4 lakhs, let's say, for example, right, then you don't have to pay. Okay. But after 6 months, let's say you get a promotion, or you are after you get a hike because the company really likes what the work you're doing, and you get a hike in your salary. And now your salary is 6 lakhs per annum. So you went from 4 lakhs to 6 lakhs. So during the first 6 months, your salary was 4 lakhs per annum. That during those 6 months, you're not paying us anything. Okay. But after you get a hike and your salary jumps to say 6 lakhs, anything above 4.5 lakhs, okay, that's when your income share agreement starts. Okay. So in that case, now the way the calculation will work is that your 6 lakhs per annum will translate into 50,000 per month. All these numbers are before taxes. So every company does taxes differently. So we cannot account for taxes. So if your annual CTC is 6 lakhs, so your gross monthly salary will be 50,000 per month. And based on that, if you take 17% of 50,000, that means your monthly installment that you'll be paying Outscal will be 8.5 thousand per month. Okay. But imagine that your starting salary is 9 lakh. Now you're doing really well, right? And you're working with one of the best game studios and your starting salary is 9 lakh. In that case, you're making 75,000 a month as salary. Okay. Now you calculate 17% of that. So then you will be paying Outscale 12,750 rupees per month, because that's 17% of 75,000. Okay, so hopefully this is making sense. Okay, so you basically take whatever is your annual CTC, you divide it by 12, and then you take 17% of that. Okay. Quick poll before we continue further. I just would like to know how many people are in what kind of a salary bracket. Again, this all information is anonymous, or whatever you vote. We don't know exactly who voted for what, so you don't have to worry about that. But if your salary is above 4 LPA, please indicate that choice. If it is below, please indicate that. If you're currently not working full-time, just choose that relevant option. Okay. This will be relevant because I'll be able to explain better as to what we're talking about next. Okay, so looks like about 75% of the people have voted already. So thank you. If the rest 10-20% can also quickly drop in their votes, that'll be very helpful. Okay, perfect. So we have about 85% of the votes in, so I think we can close the poll now. Okay, so looks like 20% of the audience is above 4 LPA. 20% of the audience is working, but under 4 LPA. Okay, and 60% of the audience is currently not working. So the audience that is currently not working or under 4 LPA will be categorized in the same category as less than 4 LPA, because if you're not working, you can imagine your current LPA to be 0, right? Or something like that if you're making some stipend or something, right? So it will be either in the less than 4 LPA category or in the greater than 4 LPA category. Okay, so the reason why this is important is because as per the income share agreement, if your CTC is less than 4 LPA, so about 80% of the audience that falls in less than 4 LPA category, either 0 LPA or anything between 0 and 4 LPA, you are eligible for an income share agreement. Okay, so the income share agreement that you will receive after the 7-day masterclass is that you will have a minimum job guarantee of 4.5 lakhs. So what this means is that you will only have to start paying once you have a 4.5 lakh and above job. If you don't get that job, then you don't have to start paying till you cross that 4.5 lakh threshold. Okay, the maximum amount that you will ever pay is 3 lakhs. So nobody who has taken an income share agreement will have to ever pay more than 3 lakhs. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. So everybody who is less than 4 LPA will be eligible for taking an income share agreement where the minimum CTC will be 4.5 lakhs and the maximum amount that you will ever pay is 3 lakhs. You will never pay more than 3 lakhs no matter what. Okay, for the audience that indicated, the 20% of the audience that indicated that they are above the 4 lakh category. Okay, in that case, you're not eligible for an ISA, but you will be eligible for taking an upfront EMI based plans. Okay, and the reason for this is very simple, because you're already above 4 LPA, right? Means you're already working. Then it becomes very complicated to assess, because based on your previous experience, right? If your experience is technology based, because somebody like mentioned that they were working on HTML and CSS and JavaScript, etc. If you actually are, let's say, at 5 LPA or something, in that case, you might be directly jumping to 8 LPA because you have technology relevant experience. And once you are able to break into the right companies and put in the right effort, you might get a 8-9 lakh offer immediately after the program or even during the program, right? In that case, ISA becomes very expensive for you. Okay, so that's why anybody who's already above and 4 LPA range, your bump up in terms of your salary increase will be dependent on your previous experience, as well as where your current CTC is and how you're able to sell that experience as valid experience to game companies if you're transitioning from a non-game company. Okay, so that's something that's super important and will help you figure that out as well. Okay, so that is something that's we have seen a lot of students make that jump up, drastic jump ups, right? Going from single digits to double digits as well. And that's where, it will always be cheaper to opt in for an upfront plan. Okay, good. So before we jump into the next bit, I just want to take a few questions because I can see there are some important questions here. Somebody's already at, okay, so I think we made the poll live. So let's just quickly do the poll and then I'll take the questions. So the important question here is that, do I need to pay anything for the 7-day masterclass? So if you guys can put in your answers quickly, and I'll just cover the this particular section as well, because I think a lot of people have a misconception regarding the 7-day masterclass. So we want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Okay, good. So a good 80% of the answers are in. Perfect, good. So I can see 95% of the people said no, that we do not need to pay anything for the 7-day masterclass. So that's absolutely correct. So during this next 7-day, you do not have to worry about paying anything. All the things that we are talking about are the fee options that you have to decide once you have finished the 7-day masterclass. Only after that, if you want to continue with the program, that's when you decide whether you want to opt in for an income share or you want to opt in for an upfront. All those questions come in later. This is just for your knowledge and information. Okay, cool. So let me quickly come to a couple of questions. Okay, let me scroll here. Somebody's asking that if I'm already at 8 LPA in my domain and I only want to get into software programming, so how would be the CTC in this skill? So I'm not sure I completely understand the question. If you only want to get into software programming, you can definitely get 8, 10, 11 LPA, because even a lot of, I think there was another question related to this as well. There are a lot of beginners who started their first job after graduating from Outscal, and they're already in the 8 to 10 LPA range category as well, right? So even as a beginner, you can for sure get that good CTC, because if you look at some of the really good product companies, right, they are definitely paying really good dollars just to get the best talent. So the only thing that you will need to focus on is that you are able to showcase to these companies that you have the best, you're the best of the best, right? You have the right skill set and you're able to break into their interview process, etc. If you're able to prove that, if you're able to showcase that, there's no denying that you can even get. And if you are able to connect some of your previous experience to your new experience, you'll be even better, and I'm sure you'll be able to break into the double digits as well. Okay. Okay, let me see. Okay, there are too many questions. Let me see. What about the person who is designing, who is in the designing side in gaming and now want to learn development and have no knowledge about the development area? So Deepak, that's a very good question. Like I mentioned earlier, there are people coming from not just design, art background, people from QA background, BCom and BA, etc., who have transitioned into becoming a developer. At the end of the day, when I started Outscal, my goal was very clear. I knew there were a lot of people who were passionate about this industry, but just because when you were finishing 12th class, you didn't choose an engineering college, doesn't mean that you should not be able to explore your passion, right? So I knew a lot of people coming from, either game industry or some other industry with art background, QA background, design background, etc. And they know that the majority growth in the industry is in the technology roles, in game development roles. So naturally, they want to transition there because that's where growth is, that's where majority of the money and the salaries are, etc. And they want to build games more or less, right? They want to actually build it with their hands, if nothing else, and launch their games on Play Store and Steam and whatnot, right? So that's why the program never focuses on whether you know coding or not. We assume that you know zero coding and we'll start from the basics. Okay, so it doesn't matter what your prior experience is as long as you're able to give it time. Okay. is ISA applicable for unemployed people? Absolutely. ISA is available for unemployed people as well, because an unemployed person would be in the less than 4 LPA category. That's what I mentioned earlier. Okay. Okay, let me see if there are any main questions that I missed. Okay, 1 second. I answered this. Okay, looks like I answered. Abhishek, just keep pushing questions to me, please, if you see if I'm missing any questions, because I think Abhishek is answering most of the questions as well. Perfect. Ella, I'm a foreigner. What can I apply for? Ella, if you can drop me a ping on Discord after the call, I can probably help you out. This is a special case, so we'll have to think about it separately. All right. We've had a few foreigners who have actually gone through the program before as well. So it's not a new case, but just that it needs to be treated slightly differently. All right. Perfect. So let me quickly come back to here, and then I'll pick back more questions from the chat. So what will happen after the 7-day masterclass? On day 8, we will announce the results. So every day at 7 p.m. IST, we'll be meeting together on Zoom and going about learning the fundamentals and getting into some of the basics. All right. And after that, we will be jumping into on day 8, we'll be announcing at 12 p.m. The results as to who all have qualified for the program and who haven't. Okay. So once you have qualified based on your current, current job option, whether you're working, whether you're not working, etc., will decide whether you fall into the income share agreement category or you fall into the upfront category. Okay. So in that case, we'll have to make this choice, and the admission team will work with you to present you the right option and discuss what all details that you need to be aware about. Okay. Once you have decided that you want to continue with the program, immediately after the 7-day masterclass, you will have to do an initial security deposit of 10,000 INR. And once this deposit is done, your position and your spot in the program will be reserved. Okay. So there will be a 1-week gap where we'll pause further sessions, and you'll have the opportunity to work with the admission team to close out your paperwork and processes, etc. And after that, we'll resume regular sessions, and we'll be diving into the first C++ project and the Unity project after that, etc. Post the 1-week break, which will be there, so that you can work with the admission team to get you onboarded and get you set up with all the things that you need. Okay. So if you are in the category that you're opting for an income share agreement, so after the 7-day masterclass, the first thing that will happen is that you will sign an income share agreement. Okay. The income share agreement will be shared to you much ahead of time. It's a proper legal document. You will need a co-signer, such as a parent or a guardian, who will be signing the income share agreement with you as well. And the two parties together will be legally responsible to uphold this income share agreement. Okay. Along with this income share agreement, you'll be submitting a post-dated check, which will be worth 3 lakhs. Okay. Now, this is one thing that I want to make absolutely clear, that this is very similar to what a typical bank would take when you're opting in for a loan, such as a collateral. Okay. So the income share agreement is a full 20-page legal document. It will highlight all the details and the nitty-gritty aspects of when Outscal has the right to execute this security check, right? If there is a violation of a contract, if you are violating any terms of the contract, that's the only time when you will be liable to pay the full 3 lakhs amount, and we can cash that check in. Otherwise, even Outscal will not have the legal right to cash the check. So this is the only means of security that Outscal has, and all the details will be laid out as part of the contract. Okay, so you will be shared the contract very soon, and after that, you can go through it, connect with the admission team, use Discord, etc., You can ask any specific questions there or get in touch with the admission team to make sure that all your doubts regarding income share agreements are resolved, because it is a legal contract that you will be entering into as well. All right. If you're opting for the upfront plan, in that case, there will be a slightly separate contract that you will be signing, and then you'll be paying the fees option before the program kicks in. And if you're paying the full upfront fee, there will be discount available. If you're opting for an EMI-based plan, then we have financing partners who will help you with those aspects as well. Okay. Cool. So that's majority of the bits and pieces that we wanted to cover today regarding all the aspects about the program, placements, the program structure, and now, here's a link for the FAQ as well. So the team will just quickly share the FAQ link in the chat as well for anybody that wants to dive in after the session. And admissions@outscale is our standard email ID. If you have any doubts ever, please directly send us an email on admissions@outscale. And I'll be now jumping into questions. So please feel free to fire away all your questions at me. All right. Fernando is also saying foreigner too. We'll have to check. Perfect, Fernando. That's okay. You can just hit me up directly on Discord, and we'll get you set up. Otherwise, you have at least the 7-day to get a hands-on exposure, and then you can make that decision as to what you want to continue with or not. Anand is asking, check from my own account is okay, right? I have, yes, absolutely. Anand, that's perfectly okay. I think there was one question that I missed. What if I get a job in any other field by any other sources? Do we still have to pay if I drop, etc., etc.? Okay, cool. So what happens if you drop from within the course? If you drop from within the course, once you have signed an income share agreement, then you are liable for the entire extent of the income share agreement. It's as simple as that. You are entering into a legal contract. You have 7 days first to evaluate and go through the program experience, understand what it is, talk to the alumni. You'll get a chance to interact with the alumni as well. Even today as well, we'll have a lot of members from other clans joining in to help you guys with today's assignments. So you'll get a chance to interact with them and ask them any questions. So make sure that you are making an informed decision. It's very much like if you join a 4-year university program or a bachelor's degree, you just can't randomly drop in the middle, right? That's a very big risk and a big commitment that you're signing up for. So it's treated with that kind of seriousness, okay? And if you do drop, in that case, it will be a violation of an income share agreement, and you will be liable to pay the full 3 lakhs at any time after signing the ISA, okay? What if I get a job in any other field by any other sources? Okay, so it's a very good question. In that case, will I be liable to pay an income share agreement, etc.? So it depends on what kind of other job are you entering into, okay? So a clear example that I can highlight is, let's imagine that after doing the program, you become a DJ at a bar or a disco or a club or something, right? Outscale had nothing to do with teaching you DJing skills, right? Like that's not what we do. So in that case, whatever you're earning through your DJ skills, that does not fall under the income share agreement, right? But if you become an Android developer, for example, or you become a software developer, but on any technology, doesn't matter, right? So your title is not a game developer. You might not be even working with a game company, but you are a software developer, right? In that case, it will fall under an income share agreement, okay? And you will be liable to pay irrespective of how you get the job. It doesn't matter. Whether you hit the apply button on LinkedIn or whether Outscale recommends your resume to a company, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the only goal that both Outscale and you should be working towards is getting you successful, which means getting you into the right career outcome that you want, whether that's a job or not, right? It's up to you to decide. So if you are successful in a technology field as a developer, an engineer, an SDE, whatever the title might be, right? Because the big chunk of the program will focus on C++, data structures, algorithms. All of these are fundamentals for even every coding job, every development job. Doesn't matter whether it's in the web space, whether it's in the data science space, whether it's in the Android development space, etc. Right? None of that matters. But because Outscale helped you learn those skill set, then whatever you are, earning, that will fall under the purview of income share agreement. Okay. So if you become a farmer or a DJ, then an ISA does not apply. But if you become an Android developer and not a game developer, but you're still using the same skills to break those kind of interviews, right? Then an ISA is still applicable irrespective of the source of the job. All of these terms and actually details are actually highlighted in the ISA as well. So I'm not just randomly making things up. Once you read, this exact thing is actually mentioned in the conversation in the ISA. Okay. Is graduation mandatory to be eligible for an ISA? Absolutely not, Anuj. Graduation is not mandatory. Okay. In fact, we have a lot of folks who are right now in their final years or maybe in their master's program, etc. as well. The only thing is that within the next 6 months, you should be about to graduate or you should be eligible to take a full-time job. Okay. If I get a job that pays 4.5 lakhs per annum and don't get a rise in 3 months, then what? Do you cash the post-dated check? No. So if you already have a job that pays 4.5 lakhs, so your income share agreement already starts because you are in the 4.5 lakh category. The minimum CTC guarantee, the minimum job guarantee on the income share agreement is 4.5 lakhs. So if you're already earning that, your income share agreement already starts and you have to start paying EMI. Okay, you have to start paying monthly installments, which is 17% of your monthly paycheck. But if your starting salary is less than 4.5, right? In that case, what we expect from you is after the 7-month program is over, there is going to be weekly mentor calls. So you will be assigned a game development mentor who will be working with you weekly to check your progress and make sure that you continue to push your resume to companies. We will push your resume to other companies. You are improving your portfolio, you're improving your projects, etc. Right? And you continue to keep applying to new and new companies, right? If you're not working to get yourself placed, that's a violation. Okay. But if you are pushing hard to get yourself placed, and we are pushing hard to push your resumes to companies as well, in that case, if you still are less than 4.5 LPA, then it's not your fault, right? You're also trying, we are also trying, right? We'll try to improve as well. So in that case, it's not a violation. If you stop applying to companies and you say, I got a job at 4 LPA, I don't want to improve, I don't want to try for a 4.5 LPA, that's a violation. And that's when we'll catch the check in, because that will tell you that this is a violation. Okay. So if you say, I'm intentionally choosing not to apply and not to get a better placement, that's going to be a violation. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Somebody messages that they've joined in late. Don't worry. The recording will be shared after this call as well. So you guys can quickly watch. It will be hard to do a recap. Okay. I have no more than 10,000 in my account. Can I give a check of 3 lakhs? So somebody's asking that if what happens if I don't have enough money in the bank, but I have to give a 3 lakh check. In that case, what we'll recommend is that you take the check from your guardian, whoever is your parent guardian who is signing the income share agreement, you take the check from them instead giving your own check, because at the end of the day, if we do decide to cash that check because of you violating the contract, it will be much bigger legal problem for you if you don't have the money. So please make sure that you give a check which has that kind of money in. Otherwise, it's actually a bigger problem for you. If you don't violate the contract, it will never be a problem. But to be safe, at least legally, that is what I can recommend. Okay. Somebody's asking that I'm interested in joining the program from December. So if you want to join the program in December, there is no point getting selected right now, because you will have to go through the selection process again. We will be launching more cohorts as well. the plan and schedule keeps getting announced, etc. So you will have to go through as we are very selective, we only take maximum 20 people. As a result, you will have to go through the selection process. So unfortunately, we will not be able to reserve any seats for anyone. Okay. Okay. Let me see. Yes, so if somebody can share the link. Okay, so overall we need to be ready to deal with 3 lakh and 10,000. No, so somebody is asking that, is it 3 lakh plus 10,000? It's actually not. The 10,000 initial will get adjusted in the total amount, right? So if you're opting for an upfront plan, which is 1.5 lakhs plus GST taxes, right? And you've already paid 10,000, that 10,000 will be reduced from this total amount. Okay, so that 10,000 is actually getting adjusted irrespective of whether you're opting for an income share or you're opting for an upfront. Whichever payment plan you're opting for, it will get adjusted either ways. Okay. If I go with my own startup, in that case, when I will pay the fee? So Sumit, that's a good question. What if you launch your own startup? The issue is that if you are launching your own startup after learning this and you are on an income share agreement, you have to unfortunately push to get yourself placed. Okay, because you're taking an income share agreement, you will be liable for an ISA and you will be liable to continue to get placed. So we will not be able to provide an ISA. If you're clear that you want to launch your own startup, we are happy to. At the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur. This is my 4th startup. This is something that we'll talk in Clan Labs on Saturday as well. I'm happy to dive into that discussion. But we encourage startups in our community as well. But if you're clear that that is something that you want to do, we'll 100% support you in that endeavor as well. We'll connect you to investors, etc. as well. We'll go out of our way. But please opt in for an upfront and not an ISA, because it will cause legal problems later on. Okay, so if you're clear that you do not want a job, then ISA is not the right option. Otherwise, it will cause more legal hassle for you later on. Okay. Ankesh is asking, I have basic knowledge of Unity and C#, like I've made 4 to 5 2D VR games. Is the program worth? Absolutely, Ankesh. The goal for the program is something that first you define what is the outcome that you're looking, right? Some people say that I want to learn so that I can launch full-fledged games by myself, right? Some say that the outcome that I'm looking for is to get into a really good company, right? So you need to be clear on what is the outcome that you're working towards. If your goal is to improve your skills or learn how professionals work in the industry, right? Learn some of the more intermediate and advanced level concepts, things like design pattern and optimization, and learn how to work with teams, right? All of those concepts will be super important, along with all the C++ data structure stuff as well, that I'm not even going into too deep today. If you want to learn those aspects, then the program is absolutely useful, because we've had alumni who had 3 years experience. You will actually get to talk to, I think, one of the alumni this week. Even Sethunath, that I mentioned in one of my earlier slides. Actually, I think I can even go back here to one of the early slides. Yeah, so Manas was already working in the industry for 2 years professionally, not just building YouTube games, right? And he was working in the gaming ecosystem professionally for 2 years. Sethunath was working in the gaming ecosystem for 3 years. And, these guys still joined the program, and we have people who had 4 years of software development, game development experience as well, right? But because these things are actually not taught anywhere, right? I've worked in US and I've studied in a master's program in a top university in US, in Carnegie Mellon, and then have worked in India as well. I know all the courses that are available on Coursera's and other free websites and whatnot stuff. Majority of this stuff is not taught anywhere, and that's where we are seeing. Sethunath was at a 2.5 LPA or something like that when he joined the program after 3 years of experience. And not only he was able to break into the best of the best companies, but so My point here that I want to reiterate is that the outcome that you're looking for is what you need to define. And once you define that outcome clearly, if it's one of the 3-4 options, like improving your skill set, learning more advanced level stuff, getting to network with the right folks, building a professional career, and getting into the right companies, if it's any of these things, then the program is kind of a good fit for you. Okay. If I get a good job, can I pay a bigger chunk of the postpaid option to finish up the payment faster? Absolutely, those are options available. And if you're willing to pay a big chunk faster and earlier, we are happy to even offer some amount of discount as well, because that means that now we can eat food as well, right? We are a small team as well. So it's always a good option to eat food, right? Okay, so, oh shit, there are way too many questions. And I think I missed a good amount. Abhishek, I'll be needing your help again. Let me stop my screen share for a minute here and just focus on the questions. Okay. All right, so I think the team is answering a few of the questions in the chat as well. I'll be picking up some of the questions. I'm currently working and might not be able to attend live classes, but can learn from the recorded ones and complete my assignments. Will I not be eligible for it? So at the end of the day, it's a very good question. If two things that are very important is attendance and assignments, right? If you're putting in the time and the effort, and if you're completing the work, those two things are very important. Because we know that majority of the people that apply are working professionals, they have other jobs as well. So a lot of the times the timing might not be a good fit. So we'll still recommend that you try to attend as many sessions as you can. But if you're not able to, you have to make sure that your submissions are 100% on the spot, right? If your submissions are not complete, we will not be able to help you. You know, like I've mentioned this multiple times by now, that we are very selective in terms of we only take in about 20 people every cohort, right? Every clan, we take in not more than 20. We started the last one with 15. We rejected a good 10 to 12 people as well, right? Who were there, who really wanted in and had made their security deposit and everything. And we refunded the entire thing, because we want to make sure that we work with people who are 100% fucking serious that this is the only thing that they want to do, right? There is a limited number of even professional game developers who are there who want to mentor others people as well. So we don't want hundreds of people and not be able to place 80 of them. Instead, we focus on 20 so that we can place all of those 20 into really good position, right? So that's the kind of name that we want to build for ourselves in the industry. And that means that we only make sure that you are really, really serious about it. So if you're able to focus on skill sets and you're able to complete the assignments on time, then I think you'll be fine. But still try to make sure that you get attend at least some of the sessions, because that's also important. So somebody's asking, can somebody who's unemployed and opt for an upfront or an EMI option? Absolutely, Karthik. That is also an option available for upfront or an EMI based plan. It doesn't matter whether you are employed or unemployed. You always have that option if you have been selected. If you are, opting for an ISA, it's that 4 lakh criteria is important to keep in mind. Okay. Cool, guys. I think we only have 5 minutes left, so I'll be just covering few more questions. What we'll do, because I can see there are a lot more questions left after this 5 minutes, we'll be transitioning into something fun activity, and Malar will be taking over. So I'll take one more question, and rest of the questions we'll be able to answer offline. Okay. Till when will the 10,000 rupees be refundable? 10,000 will not be refundable. The whole reason why you are getting this 7-day masterclass experience is so that you can see whether the program is a good fit for you or not. So at the end of the 7 days, you decide to do the security deposit, and the initial deposit once you are 100% confident that this is the right fit and you want to continue further. Okay, so earlier we used to do this before and then refund it later, but now it's better that you guys get to experience the whole program without having to worry about any of the money options. Okay. Does the placement priorities change depending on whether it's an ISA or a non-ISA? That's a good question. Absolutely not. Whether you are on an upfront plan, EMI plan, ISA, whatever, it doesn't matter, because only the admission team and I know about what kind of plan you are, right? The tech team, the content team, the mentors, the placement team, the interview preparation team, none of these teams know about what kind of plan you are on, right? Because it's not their job to know about it. So in that case, everybody at the end of the day gets the same opportunities. In fact, people who are on an upfront plan are actually the ones who are most successful, just because they are 100% committed to doing this. Okay, that's the only thing that I can tell statistically, right? From an experience perspective, we, at the end of the day, my goal is that in 1 year time from now, we should have game developers working in every major company. It doesn't matter which continent or which country. If there is a major game studio, we should have somebody working there as our alumni, and we should be proud of that, right? So as a result, it doesn't matter which payment option that you come in for. That is inconsequential. The only focus will be that get you the best opportunity if you're putting in the effort. If you're not putting in the effort, I'll be the first person to fucking kick you out, right? That I can guarantee. But if you're putting in the effort, I'll be your best friend. I'll work till 3 a.m. in the night with you. The team will work with you overnight to figure out whatever you need help with, and we'll help you with that. Okay. Okay, so we're just about to wrap up. I know there are still a lot of questions. If Malar, you can share the link for joining the Discord community. What we'll do is, because we still have a fun interactive session to cover today, I don't want to take up all of the time. We'll ask the questions in Discord, which is where the majority of our game development community is. You will find an admissions channel there. So please feel free to directly put in your questions there. You can tag me and I'll be answering the questions on Discord after the call as well. Okay, so don't worry if I missed your questions. My apologies, there were just too many. Hopefully I've answered as many as I could. And any further questions, we'll be taking it into Discord. The session is not over. What we'll be doing is we'll be taking a quick 5 minutes water break. If somebody wants to grab water, stretch their legs, and after that we'll be basically jumping into a quick hands-on activity and the first assignment for today as well. So Malhar will be joining me on this particular thing, but I really appreciate that we still have more than 100 folks joining in. So thanks for bearing with me, and I really appreciate all the questions that you guys have shared. Hopefully you guys got to learn and engage and interact. And this was an helpful session to give you an overview. And the next 7 days will give you a deeper insight into the Outscal community as well. So a quick, poll has just popped up onto your screen. So if you can take 1 or 2 minutes just to answer. There are 2 questions in this one. So please, if you can answer both, it will give me some helpful insight in terms of, was this session helpful for you? If you understood all the information that I was trying to communicate, and we'll try to do a better job based on the feedback that you guys will provide. Okay. I can see that a good number of folks are also mentioning that they need more time to understand this information. I totally understand and totally get that. And that's why we will take more questions into the Discord community. And you'll have 7 days to interact with everybody within the Outscal community. So don't worry, before the end of the 7 days, all your questions will get answered as well. Okay, perfect. So I can see about half of the audience have voted. So if the other half can also drop in your votes. This is a slightly longer quiz, so we'll leave it open for another 30 seconds and then share the results with you guys. So meanwhile, if you guys want to take a quick 2-minute water break, we'll just get back in. Malhar is on the call. If Malhar, you can pop in as well.
Hey guys, nice to see you. Really glad to see the energy, and yeah, I'm also excited to do the today's activity and like just brief you about all the 7-day journey. So I hope everyone will enjoy. So yeah, like just grab a water or like stretch your legs and come back within 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, yeah.
Perfect. So I think the poll is still running. We still have a good number of folks who have not yet answered. So please do so. Feedback is very, very important for us. And this is something that you will see, we'll ask you every day in terms of feedback. We love feedback. We love improving